Behind me are the streets of Tehran. I've just arrived with a team of top British women rock climbers, including Glenda Huxter.
Wearing scarves, completely covering everything.
I thought it would be an ideal opportunity to find out more about what makes her and her fellow climbers tick, and also more about this mysterious country. The trip is hosted by the Iranian Women's Climbing Federation. The expedition includes a week of rock climbing workshops and the ascent of Alam Kuh, one of the most formidable and renowned walls in the Middle East.
And this is Soila. So this is Soila. She's an amazing mountaineer as well. Really, really nice.
Hello.
Glenda.
Hello.
Right, so we're now moving from Shemshak, one of the ski resorts where we stayed the night, to Dizin, a much larger ski resort. This road is normally closed in winter because there are huge avalanches that come down either side. And then from Dizin we take a dirt track down to something called the Charlus Road, which is the road to the Caspian Sea.
I wrote an article proposing a women's symposium, and Leyla responded to that article saying she was really interested, so we set up a communication.
Celia is a colourful climber from a climbing family, but she hasn't climbed since a recent traumatic experience in Tasmania, when a friend of hers suffered lasting injury in a near-fatal accident caused by rockfall.
When the symposium started kicking off, she was like, can you find out if there's any women representatives in Iran we can invite? And I said, well, I'll go and ask. And I found Khanum Rahimzadeh, and I spoke to her. Through that, then we started talking about having a kind of exchange project going, and then they just took it out of my hands, and they've been incredible. Well, Fereshte,
Yes.
how did you start climbing in Iran?
I'm cycle climbing, mountain climbing, mountain climbing almost 18 years ago.
And did you start with your father or female friend?
For beginning first, my brother, my father, and guide me. And after we find a female woman.
Soila is actually very famous in Iran because she's done a lot. Everywhere I go, they talk to me about her. Can you tell us a bit about how you started climbing?
With my father, beginning, and continue with my friends.
With your friends?
Yes.
But Soila is the only woman here that is married.
Yes.
And she still manages to go to the mountains. Does your husband help you? Does he support you for the mountains?
Yes, very much. Very, very much.
Does he climb himself?
So. Yes.
Not as much as you?
No.
And have you been to Alam Kuh, the place we're going to? Have you climbed on the wall before?
Yes. 3 times.
This is Leyla. She's on the team of the Iranian women climbers.
I'm beginning for 5 years mountaineering and 3 years rock climbing.
We've arrived at Kaladesh, the Rudbarat Mountain Centre. The team are being briefed by Razou Nagave, a local man. Razou Nagave is a national hero in his own right because he was a member of the Iranian team that made a successful ascent of Everest in 1997. His father, Safir, was a pioneering mountain guide with the first French and German teams to tackle the great northeast wall of Alam Kuh in the mid-60s.
Okay, so what happens is you get to the summit. It's a very obvious path, kind of following along a ridge, or there's a path down. Don't take the path down, follow along, come down on a ridge. For a slight bit, it might look like you don't know where the footsteps are, but otherwise, it's very, very obvious. So, on this.
This is number 1, yeah? This is the Italian list.
It's about 8 in the morning. but everyone seems to be in good spirits despite the early start.
This is your life. Oh, God.
Kath is in her early 30s. She has a taste for big routes that push her physical and mental abilities to the limit, such as those presented by the Rocky Mountains in the USA, where she now lives. This open-back truck we've just boarded is going to take us up the first leg of the journey into the foothills of Alam Kuh.
You working artificial climbing board?
In the winter.
In the winter. Yes. In the winter, you work in the artificial wall.
Glenda is in her mid-30s. Her reputation was cemented as a talented and daring climber with nerves of steel when she climbed the Bells, an overhanging sea cliff in Anglesey, North Wales. This made her the first British woman to climb a grade E7 route on site.
Never seen the sunshine so bright, never seen it.
Good outfit. Check this guy out.
Hey!
Hey, dude.
Oh, leopard
What a dude.
I'm feeling apprehensive. There's a long hike ahead up to the Sarshell Centre, which is about 3,850 metres above sea level. And then tomorrow, up to the Alam Shelter, which is about 4,000 metres above sea level, and within striking distance of the Great Wall of Alam Kuh. It looks like the zoo, alias Mr. Everest, is going to walk up with us. I think he's a kind of unofficial chaperone, because the Iranian women are really keen to ensure that everything goes smoothly. They are responsible for us.
I was actually very surprised when I first met up with the Federation because I had no idea that women did climb here. If you just ask the average Iranian on the street, they don't have a clue either. But since the revolution, most sports have been segregated, so women are climbing with women. So women have to learn how to be able to lead, how to use equipment, and can't rely on men so much. And we had to do this through the Federation because the Federation is by far the wealthiest organisation, and it's one that would be able to organise visas. So we are very much guests. But in some ways, this has been slightly restrictive, but we did know that this was going to be an official visit.
I've been left miles behind by Glenda and Co, but the view is magnificent. Our mules are already returning. They're bringing down rubbish from the Sarshell Centre. Some hard bargaining has been going on, and the conclusion of it was that Mrs. Rahim Sadeh agreed to pay about $10 per mule.
سلام علیکم احوالشون خوب هستین خسته نباشید خیلی ممنون متشکرم شما تا کجا تشریف بردید
I've made it to the Sarshell Centre at last, and Glenda, Kath and Celia are already preparing to head up the mountain to the base camp. Their stamina is astounding. It's another 3 hours walk, uphill of course, and this time with heavy packs on their back.
Gators. I mean, I'm going to be rather overheated, but...
This is very tricky.
It's just I can't get them off my boots easily.
I'm desperately trying to get too much into a too small pack.
Is that yours?
How many have you got?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could take that and get some water.
The arrangements are a little unclear, but I don't think the Iranian team are going to climb Alam Kuh.
We wanted to invite 2 Iranian women over to Wales for the international conference. And unfortunately, the British Embassy only gave one of them a visa, only gave Mrs. Rahimzadeh a visa, because they were worried that the other woman would emigrate to England from Iran.
Leyla, Abby, Razoo and I are hiking up to the Alam shelter today. Abby is a friend of Leyla's. She's fast becoming our unofficial interpreter.
The series of rocks that are in Alam Kuh are actually called Tahta Suleiman, which translates as the throne of Solomon. Basically, Solomon wanted to find out where he should place his throne. So he called all the animals and all the birds. The only one that didn't come was the hudhud. He'd said that he was flying over to come to the kingdom, and it was so cold that his feathers had frozen and he couldn't continue. And that's where Solomon decided to have his throne.
Glenn, are you really going to climb that?
Yeah, but it's totally epic.
I can see that from here.
Not so much the climb, just getting to it is really epic. It's like stuff like this, only steep.
It's very early morning, but Glenda and Kath are already up on the wall. The night was extremely cold, but with a fantastic moon though. Celia was a little rough last night, maybe altitude sickness or fear at the thought of climbing. I'm now staked out, several hundred feet from the foot of the wall. I'm using a large boulder as a tripod and a barricade against stray rocks, so don't expect any spectacular climbing shots from this expedition, because this is as close as I get. Climbers always work in pairs. One pulls in or feeds out the rope while the other climbs. There's something very ritualistic about the way climbers prepare their gear. Each item is chosen according to their personal assessment of the challenges ahead, and then wrapped on their harness in a familiar sequence, so that when they're hanging from the rock face in, as you can imagine, a precarious position, they can quickly find the piece they want. Their life depends on these bits of metal and their ability to put the right piece in the right crack in the rock, so that it will hold against the massive jolt of their ropes if they fall off.
Okay, only one place is good.
Yeah.
I just would be really unhappy if I couldn't climb. I think a part of it's to do with it's like a real sort of here and now. You're really focused on what you're doing. You don't think about anything else. And there's something really nice about having an activity that's so absorbing. And it's absorbing both physically and mentally. It's also like kind of, you get away from all the sort of the stresses and hassles and things of life and go somewhere and do something that totally takes your mind off it. So it's kind of escapism, I guess.
Guys, it's all coming. That side. You're out of here? Yeah, I'm out of here. Feet rockful.
A lot of rocks came down, about 150 metres from where we're standing. It's now dusk, almost dark, and Glenda and Kath haven't returned from the climb. A lot of rocks came down.
I started climbing when I was about 20. It was through my sister and her boyfriend. And I went up to stay with my sister for like a week. Stayed up 6 weeks climbing continuously. Addicted from the start, I think. Like, I just loved it, basically.
I thought you were sleeping on the mountain.
We nearly were.
God.
Glenda and Kath arrived back at 3 in the morning.
Oh, that's so good. Amazing situation ever before. That was incredible. And the climbing was brilliant. I mean, it wasn't very hard, but we were like really quite out there. It felt like one of the most committing things I've done for quite a while, particularly when we saw all this stonefall coming down.
But there was a ridge on our left, and that's the ridge that we thought we should have been up on.
We saw this stuff, size of TV blocks coming down, huge stuff, which just went straight down where we'd been not only sitting yesterday, but where we jugged up, used our fixed lines this morning to get up.
To get to the top of this ridge was like, I don't know, loads of scree.
It's a very unstable rock face.
There must have been 1,000 foot or more of scree, and it's just like impossible to walk up it. Just like sliding back down. But anyway, we finally got to the top of this ridge. I looked in the valley, and it wasn't even the right valley.
Hello, Celia.
Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We had to try and find our way down. There's no way on earth we could stay up there. It was just so cold.
Congratulations. Thank you. Hello.
So we went along the ridge.
Probably it was a big ridge, yeah.
Oh. Then
So we were all the way back.
It's just like amazing ridge. It'd be brilliant to walk along it in the daytime.
The moonlight was really good, so we could see perfectly. And we came back across the glacier here.
Yeah. Very hungry and very thirsty. Angry. Oh, angry.
No.
You're very angry or no?
No, we were quite sort of resigned. Yeah. This is what you have to do when you take the wrong track.
I was a little bit angry with myself because I kind of, when we were going down, to start off with, I thought maybe this wasn't the right way, but I just thought it for one, quickly, and then.
This is campsite food at its best.
What's the verdict?
Raw. Even though it's been cooking for an hour, it's raw.
What did you do yesterday?
We climbed the German flank, Gordea Olmono,
Which is this ridge here. Went up the scree slope, just follow the ridge and got the sunlight and the shade.
How was it?
Amazing.
It was incredible, a real classic. Well, once you walk up the scree, you've got a view into the valley, the next valley along, and the mountain, Solomon's Throne. At this aid pitch, which Celia was leading up, and she led over, and suddenly this man turns up with his rucksack and his got a pair of plastic slippers on, and I said, well, you don't have a harness or a rope, how are you going to get over the next bit? And he's like, never been here before, I don't know, I was just looking for my wife. And I just said, well, please be careful, because there was a huge drop.
We're setting off on the 2-day hike back to Kiladesh, the mountain centre.
Joy. If people see this rubbish about to disappear, you should let me know. Yeah.
When you walk away from Alamkuh, you can see this rock protruding. And when we got up to it, I mean, there's this massive boulder that is very, very loosely connected.
Perched precariously.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's got bolts on it. It's got 2 roots on it, and people actually climb this perched rock.
Hi, how are you? We're on the road to to be dropped off at Meydun Azadi. Yeah? But can you get 2 cars there? Well, actually, we passed the bridge that you built about 10 minutes ago. Okay, we'll be there around an hour then. We'll see. All right, do you have the keys? Thank you very much. Okay, thanks a lot.
Girls involved with the Federation haven't been allowed to climb the Alamkuh wall because if anyone does die under the umbrella of the Federation, that's obviously going to make things very, very difficult for them.
Alam Kuh is now a memory, or perhaps a dream. Leyla has persuaded our hosts to let the British team spend the only free night they have before the workshops start, in a really comfortable house belonging to a friend of hers. I asked Leyla whether all women abide by the dress codes in Iran.
We're so used to it, we don't think about it. You have some women who have more liberal ideas, who are happier not wearing the veil, so to a certain extent they resent it. And there's other women who are much more comfortable with it, who don't even notice that they're wearing it. In 1936, Reza Shah, who came into power, decided to forcefully unveil women, so there'd be soldiers on the street telling women to take their chadors off. And after that, in 1980, women are forcefully reveiled under Khomeini's direction. In this culture, men do not respect a woman that shows her body off.
We're at the statue of the hiker in a suburb of Tehran. From here we'll walk up to the bouldering area, Darband, where the workshops take place. The first stage of the walk is past very rustic tea houses. They're more or less empty at the moment. Apparently, on Thursdays and Fridays, the Iranian weekend, they fill up. Pleasant as it was, half a day and one night of comparative luxury was not sufficient recuperation time, so the team have mixed feelings about the 5 days of workshops ahead.
کل منطقه است. این قسمت اون پایین که اومدیم همونجور سنگایی که کار می‌کردن ولی قرار ما اینجا بودیم بهش میگن زمین فوتبال.
They call this place the football arena because this is where everybody sort of
اون قسمت
hangs out, yeah.
It's been a little bit confused this morning. No one's quite known what's been organised and the key person wasn't here. But we're making sense of it all and we're going to go and put up some ropes for different people's climbing ability. We're going to work with 2 people who know the area really well and everyone's very excited.
The Iranian women have brought amazing food up, but that's not too surprising, as picnicking is the Iranian national pastime.
Options are that we could put 1 rope or even maybe 2 here. That's really nice rock. Yeah. That quite sort of easy grade. Yeah. But there is a place over there, and I think there's some harder stuff we could put top rope.
People came from all over the country to come to this workshop. It was an exciting thing. I was really impressed by the enthusiasm for it. I was impressed at how far they'd travelled.
It's been really nice actually to kind of be involved with a lot of women because often when you go away on trips or whatever, especially to places like, well, I can think of like Pakistan or whatever, you tend not to deal with the women, you're always dealing with men. So it's been great to come to Iran and deal with the women and I found them like really brilliant.
The workshops are over at last and we're headed for a hotel in Tehran and hopefully a couple of days of relaxation. Unfortunately, Celia is no longer with us. She had been getting increasingly disenchanted with Iran, particularly having to wear the headscarf. This, in an email from England containing some bad news, was enough to make her decide to cut the trip short.
Well, we've just missed 2 flights.
Quite an achievement. We might have to repeat this later just in case.
think so.
Unbelievably, we've missed 2 consecutive flights.
So, I don't know where we go now. Don't know what to do. I feel like just over the last 2 things, I feel like it was a bit out of my control, and I just totally didn't want to hassle you two. And I can laugh at it and all the rest of it, but it's very frustrating, actually. So, yes, there we go. It's a stag. It's more than a stag. Oh my god! 2 calls missed! What did we do today that we deserve this? You owe me 2,000 just for the amount I've made you laugh. It's the insult of our money. It's the insult of our money is now going to mean even more things.